Hey everyone, it's Amber from The Sensible Mama. As you probably saw from the title, today I'm going to be talking to you about how I am doing my home fitness at home, if that wasn't clear already. If you follow me over on Instagram, you've probably been seeing me talking about my self-made 100-day challenge that I've been doing. It's really simple. It's just 100 days of doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats every day. I didn't really plan to share much about this, especially I wasn't planning on doing a progress kind of thing before and after, so I didn't take any before shots. It was really just something I was doing more for myself, for practicing self-discipline, and for obviously getting more fit. But as I've been sort of casually sharing about it on Instagram, I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys about how it works, what I'm doing, how the movements can be modified, and whatnot. These questions have brought me to the realizations that right now, perhaps more than ever, people are really interested in learning how to work out and get healthy from home. To be honest, being a mom, it just makes it really hard to get to the gym. It's hard to carve out time for ourselves without feeling guilty about leaving our kids behind, or about leaving our kids with our spouse or grandparents or a sitter or something like that in order for us to go to the gym. It's hard. But especially right now in the middle of a global pandemic, it's even harder to get to a gym. Many of us are trying to be mindful of public health, of our family's health, and we're trying to stay at home as much as possible in order to stop the spread of the virus so that we can all get back to our normal lives. So as I've been looking at your questions, I realized that one thing that I've done well during this time is figuring out a fitness plan and strategy that works really well for a busy mom and that can be done completely from home. I've come up with a system that is actually fun, that is motivational, and is diverse. And believe me, if you're gonna be successful at working out at home, you have to have some variety, otherwise you're gonna fizzle out. So today I'm just gonna be sharing with you the things that I've been doing. I'm gonna share with you first the 100-day challenge because that is 100% free. You don't need any equipment to do it and you can do it completely from home. And the great thing about it is that you can do it while your kids are around you. It's just perfect for moms. But I'm also gonna share with you some of the things that I have purchased for my home and my office in order to help me stay fit. These are all budget friendly. I wanna lay that out there first. The most I've spent on something was about a little over $300 for a treadmill, which I've put in my home. And I gotta say, it's a very budget friendly treadmill and it's amazing. Got it off Amazon. But when I looked at what I was paying for my family for a gym membership on a monthly basis, we canceled our gym membership in April. If we'd been paying that gym membership from April up until now, I would have spent more on that gym membership than I have spent on these small things that I've gotten to help me be fit at home. And the benefit of that is that I'm no longer paying this monthly fee to a gym. I just have the stuff here at home that I can use at any time I want. It works around my schedule. It works around my kids. It's just worked for me. So of course I am going to be sharing with you today the 100-day challenge. Again, like I said, that costs you zero money. But for all these things that I'm going to show you today that I'm also using to add variety to my workout, I'm going to link them down in the description box as well. My hope is that there's a little bit of something for everybody here. So I will leave timestamps down below so you can kind of jump around and look at which parts of the video might be relevant to you. So that said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so let's talk about the 100-day challenge first, because that's probably why you're here. The 100-day challenge, like I said, is really simple. It is 100 days of doing 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and 100 sit-ups every day for 100 days. A lot of you guys have asked, am I doing any kind of cardio with that? And many of you have asked if I'm doing any dietary restrictions along with it. So let me address those two things first. Number one, up until day 40, I was doing no cardio, and that's going to become important in a minute. And also up until day 40, I was doing something called intermittent fasting, which means that I was only eating between the hours of noon and 8 o'clock p.m. And outside of that, I only drank water. So that was kind of how I started on the 100-day challenge. And that worked pretty well for me. But there are two things that I have to note about those two things. By not doing any cardio, and I've talked about this over on Instagram, by not doing any cardio at all and just doing these 3 movements that are designed to build muscle, I was putting on about 1 pound a week. So I want you guys to know that if you're gonna do the 100-day challenge and not put any cardio in, expect to see gains in your weight while you're doing it. I started noticing getting more muscle mass in my pectorals here. I started getting more muscles in my shoulders and my triceps and biceps. And also finally my butt, which had become sort of pancakey since having 2 kids, was starting to bump out again, meaning that I was putting on some muscle there, which was very important to me. So just know that You're gonna put on a little bit of weight at first if you're not putting cardio in, and I'll talk in a minute about when I think cardio should come into it. And then second, regarding the dietary restrictions, doing intermittent fasting was working really great for me when I first got started, but as I was doing the 100-day challenge, probably around day 25 or 30, I started noticing that it was really hard for me to make it until 12 before I ate anything. And I had been doing intermittent fasting for a long time, but I realized that putting on that muscle mass, I was burning more energy just while being still, and I was needing to eat more. And I made the decision, even though I really enjoy intermittent fasting, it was making my life miserable. I would just spend from the time I woke up until noon almost not being able to concentrate because all I could think about was food. So I've let that go. I now eat when I'm hungry, and that's how I'm doing that. I am, however, just trying to be more conscious about what I'm eating. And I've found personally that when you're spending your day focusing on doing these movements, you just are a little bit less hungry. And I found that I was just craving good foods and water more than I was craving sugary and high fat foods. So I've been focusing on cooking all of my meals at home and making sure that more of my plate is plant-based than meat-based. And that's really been about it. So to talk to you about kind of how I've been doing the 100-day challenge, I am almost to day 50. And now the way that I'm doing these movements, it's 300 movements total, is that at the end of the day, just once I get the kids in bed, I knock all 300 of them out. I can do that now because I've been at this for almost 50 days. But when I got started, it was actually very hard just for me to do, for the push-ups, to just do 10 at a time. So I created a spreadsheet in Notion. It's an app that I've shown you guys before. And I put it on my iPad Pro. The great thing about Notion is that once I put something in Notion on my iPad Pro, I can also access it on my phone. So I'm able to see this spreadsheet at any time. But I just have a checklist, and I have it broken down into sets of 10 for each movement. And I just made a point of making sure that throughout my day, whenever I could, I would snag 10 push-ups or 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, and just keeping track as I go through my day of how many I've done. By the end of the day, whatever I had left, I usually hoped to only have about 20 left of each movement. Then I would knock all of those out before I got to bed. You do need some sort of checklist, even if you're just doing it on paper, so that you don't lose track. If you're trying to do 300 of anything throughout a day, you will lose count if you're not keeping track. So I recommend using something like Notion just because it's a really easy way to keep track of everything. You can clear it out every day and start over, but you can use paper as well. I was in a position where I could do my squats unmodified, and I'll show you here what an unmodified squat should look like, making sure that just 2 main points, that you're sitting back like you're sitting into a chair and you're keeping your knees from going out over your toes. You want to make sure that doesn't happen. But I needed to modify at first the other 2 movements, which were the push-ups and the sit-ups. I had diastasis recti, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, where my abs had separated. So I needed to work hard on getting my abs a little bit stronger before I could do a full sit-up. And I just did not have much upper body strength for doing push-ups, and I had to modify those as well. So here are the 2 ways that I modified those movements. For the sit-ups, I was just doing a partial crunch and sort of holding it at the end. So that way I was really getting that nice firm scrunch, which was something that I was actually taught by my midwife after I had my babies as a way to heal diastasis recti. After a few weeks of doing that way, I was able to do more of a full sit-up, and I also integrated in a couple of other movements that I thought just helped change it up a little bit to still get that crunch movement, but not doing a full sit-up. For the push-ups, I just went to, I hate this name, but I went to like girl push-ups. There's got to be a better name for it, but where you sit on your knees and do your push-ups from there. One thing that I learned really quickly is that because I was lacking strength in my triceps, I was tending to do a push-up that sort of pushed my elbows out this way, which is really only working this area here mainly. So one thing that I had to start working on was really learning how to gain the strength to keep my elbows in and do that push-up this way. I had to start off doing that on my knees instead of in full push-up position. So when you're modifying that movement, just start doing it on your knees, build up some of your strength, and then every day try doing just a few of the push-ups in a full push-up position and see how many you can do. You will start seeing that every day you can do more and more of them the regular way. If you need squats modified, the way that I recommend it is to literally just pull up a chair and sit down into the chair and stand up. Sit down and stand up. The great thing about that is you can do that in your living room, in your kitchen, while your family is around. You're still building strength. Please don't think that just because you're sitting in a chair and standing back up that you're not working your muscles, because you absolutely are. Now, to sort of circle back to the question of integrating cardio, like I said, I was putting on about 1 pound a week, just doing the 100-day challenge. After day 40, I decided it was time to start bringing some cardio in, and that's when I started involving my Stair Stepper as well as the treadmill that I purchased. And I have found that now my weight is starting to come back down much more slowly than I was hoping, but I had gone from like 135 to 140, and now after about 10 days of doing my cardio every day, I'm down to about 138. So I'm moving in the right direction there. I'm gonna talk about booty bands next because it's sort of related to the squats I was just talking about. I was finding that I needed a little bit more resistance than just my body weight as I started doing this more. And I have like a squat rack in my house, but it's very hard to get underneath a squat rack when you have little kids around, and it's even harder to try to get the kids away so that you can do that. So I wanted something that I could use that would give me sort of the same effect as doing a weighted squat without having the weights involved. And like them or not, I bought some booty bands, and I'm gonna tell you what, I love them. When you buy these, you get a set of 4, and each one has a different level of resistance, and you can go on YouTube and find just tons of videos for free that will show you different movements that you can do with these. I haven't really delved into that yet. I've just been using them to put them around my legs while I'm doing my squats. And I'm gonna tell you, it makes a difference. I don't recommend using them every day if you're gonna do this 100-day challenge, because you will get so sore that you might have to take a few days off. But they work. They work every part of your leg. They just make it an overall better workout. And the great thing is, when you buy the set, you can start on the lowest resistance band, and it really adds just a very small amount of resistance. You can get comfortable with that and then work your way up to the highest resistance band. And the cool thing about having these is that if one day you're like, I'm not feeling the squats today, maybe your back hurts or your ankles hurt and you don't want to do those, you can do all kinds of different movements. I will link a video that I like a lot down below that will still work your legs and your butt and things like that without having to do the full squat. So I recommend those if you're wanting to change it up with the squat, or again, take more of like an active rest day, if you will, so that you can still do some kind of movement related to squatting without doing the real squat and give any hurting joints a chance to kind of chill. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is my Stair Stepper. I've mentioned this a lot on Instagram, but I love this thing so much. The price keeps changing a little bit on Amazon, but when I purchased this, it was only about $75. And for what I paid, it is absolutely worth it. It's just an inexpensive piece of equipment that gets the job done. I actually bought this right at the beginning of the pandemic because it was affordable, and it was just something that I could have at home in order to feel like I was getting some kind of cardio in. It does not give you the kind of cardio workout that you would get if you were actually on a treadmill, but it does get your heart rate up, it does work your muscles, and it actually has a good bit of variability to it in terms of the resistance that you get. It has a dial down in the bottom that allows you to mix up how much resistance you're getting. So you can make it a super difficult workout, or you can make it a really easy workout. I find that this is a great thing to do, again, on like an active rest day, to just set this up in front of the TV or in front of my phone and get a little bit of a workout in. What's great is that if you allow your arms to swing and you're counting your steps on an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or something like that, it'll still count your steps there, so you're getting your steps in. As you can see, mine is here in my office now, because one thing that I like to do, especially like when I'm editing YouTube videos or something like that, I will edit the video and then I have to, of course, go watch it back. And I'll just set up my computer in front of the Stair Stepper and I'll just watch the video and get my steps in. I will say this one is very noisy, which is really the only drawback. If you guys have watched some of my lives on Facebook, I've sometimes done my lives while on this Stair Stepper, and it eventually starts making a really loud squeaky noise. So just know that. Don't put it anywhere near where your children might be sleeping, because it gets super loud and you're gonna get nervous really fast. When I started realizing that this wasn't giving me the full workout experience that I wanted, I did also purchase a rower, and I'm only sharing this because I want you guys to see that there are really affordable options out there on Amazon that will give you a great workout without breaking the bank. My rower is actually in my warehouse because sometimes, the warehouse girls like to use it too. This one was also extremely affordable and it works. It has a magnetic dial that changes up the resistance that you get. And for what I paid for it, it does the job. Is it as nice as a rower that has a fan built into it, or the water-based rowers that are thousands of dollars? No, but it gets the job done, and it is another way to sort of change up my cardio workout when I want to. The great thing about the rower too, compared to like a treadmill or a stair stepper, is that you are getting a lot of upper body movement with that. Sometimes I even like to put it on the highest up settings, like the most resistance, and keep the seat on the rower still and just focus on pulling back really hard and working on my back muscles and my traps and things like that, because having more muscle is going to help you lose weight. And if that's your goal, sometimes you do have to put on a little bit of muscle. The last thing that I want to talk about has to do with my Apple Watch, just because I feel like an Apple Watch is, I'm just a big believer in it. But I just kicked off a workout on my watch. I'm not working out right now. I'm a big believer in the Apple Watch or a Fitbit, whatever you choose to use, but I just love mine so much. But a cool thing about the Apple Watch is that you can use it to really help you know if you're meeting goals that you've set for yourself. So I wanted to touch on this really quickly. I've done another a full Apple Watch review. I will link it down below if you guys want to check that out. But another thing that I do with my Apple Watch is I have a Notion spreadsheet all set up where I'm tracking how many days out of the week I closed all 3 of my rings and also hit my steps goal. You can customize what it looks like to close each of these rings. Once you get your Apple Watch, you can actually go in and tell it, this is how many minutes of exercise I want to do every day. Here's how many calories I want to burn every day, and here's how many hours out of the day I want to have at least stood up for 10 minutes straight. Those are the rings on the Apple Watch. Just to give you a point of reference, I have mine set up to do 30 minutes of exercise every day to burn 510 calories per day, which I think was just what was recommended to me by my watch based on my weight and height and things like that. And then I want to stand up at least 10 minutes of every hour for 12 hours a day, which if you're a mom, you're gonna just blow right through that one. It's super easy. What's kind of cool about the watch is that it does detect your activity level. So sometimes I have not logged a workout, like I haven't gone into my phone and started a workout, but I'll look down and see that I have 10 minutes of exercise time towards my 30-minute goal, just because I was up and being really active with my kids. It tracks calorie burn based on your heart rate, which is really great. That means if I am running around, like chasing my kids, pretending to be dinosaurs in the living room, I'm actually earning points towards my calorie burn goal as well. And I do make it a goal every day to close all of those rings. Do I do it every day? No, and you have to give yourself grace in that regard. But that's why I think having a spreadsheet is really important when you're doing this workout from home, is just to get a bird's eye view of like, how fit am I being every day? How focused am I being on my health and my fitness? And I think that the Apple Watch is just a really great way to keep track of that. The other thing that I do is keep count of my steps. Now guys, I'm really active. I come to my office every day. I'm walking around the warehouse. So I have a pretty high steps goal of 10,000 steps per day. And I've gotten pretty good at meeting that. But just know you don't need to have 10,000 steps per day. You need to figure out what is like an achievable goal for you so that you don't feel deflated every day if you're not hitting it. But that's what I'm doing every day, is 10,000 steps per day. If you watched my very first Apple Watch review video, I told you about an app called Pedometer that I really liked for tracking my steps. And I do still really like that app, but I found that it had a few problems. One of them was that it really didn't update your steps on your Apple Watch interface throughout the day, like at all. It would occasionally bump up, but like there would be days where I would look down at my watch and it would say that I had done 92 steps for the day, and I like would have to open the app, touch it, and then it would update. Which is fine. Like I don't expect my Apple Watch to operate like a Fitbit where I can actually see my steps updating in real time. But I did find a new app called Activity Tracker, which I'm liking a little bit better. It will not track your steps in real time, but it is better about updating it frequently. And it also comes with a really great complication for the Apple Watch face, and it also integrates with your phone. I'm just finding that I'm enjoying the Activity Tracker app a little bit more than Pedometer, just because it is a little bit more up to date. Like it does give me a more real-time number of how many steps I've taken, and I like the reporting feature a little bit more. So I'm gonna link Pedometer and Activity Tracker down below. Both of them have a complication for your Apple Watch face. If you don't know that word, what it means for an Apple Watch, it just means like an icon that you can put, basically a widget, if you will, that you can put on the front of your Apple Watch face and access it whenever you want to. All right, guys, so basically that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. I know that it kind of seems like a lot, but I just know you're not expected to do all of these things. Like I don't do all of these things all in the same day. I'm trying to show you different options for working out from home, which are affordable and mobile. You can move them around if you want to. That will help you achieve your workout goals a little bit better. I think it's important to have realistic expectations. Remember that you're a mom and you have lots of priorities, and your fitness just needs to be one of those priorities. It doesn't have to be your only priority or even your main priority. It just should be something that you are making a priority in your life. And any step that you're taking toward being more healthy and more fit is a move in the right direction. So just because what I don't want is for you to walk away from this video feeling like, well, I can't do all those things that she just described. No one expects you to. The idea is to just do a couple things or one thing every day towards your fitness, because you're worth it. You can make the time for it. You can do it from home. And as I've hopefully shown you today, you don't even really have to have equipment to do it. And if you do need some equipment, there are affordable options out there. So just make yourself a priority, make your fitness a priority, start doing a few things every day towards your fitness, and you will find that it becomes easier and easier to make it a priority. You're gonna get addicted to those endorphins that you feel when you exercise and work out. You're gonna get addicted to feeling like your body is changing, even if weight isn't coming off. When you start feeling like your pants fit a little bit better, or you're noticing that you like your shape a little bit better, it's all worth it. So anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the description box below. And with that said, I'm gonna get on out of here. Love ya, mean it, always, mwah. And I'll see you in the next one.